Hello, this is Karen and then this is Henry. Today we're going to be working on a 1998 4-liter Jeep Grand Cherokee, and we're going to be doing the evaporative emission systems lab this week. So right now we have the old data picture pulled up, and we have it for the location for where it's the evap canister purge solenoid should be in the vehicle. And as you can tell over here, it's really easy to find actually. Literally right there, you can test it very easily, and it goes all the way connected. If you can tell on the bottom of the vehicle, you can see the charcoal canister sitting just right over here, and if I have my flashlight, you can see it a lot more clear and a lot more better. Yep.
So looking at our service data here, you can see it says all engines are equipped with a duty cycle controlled purge solenoid. This regulates the flow of the vapor from the canister to the intake manifold, and it does have some warm-up delays before the PCM does command it open, as well as during closed-loop operation. It cycles it roughly 5 to 10 times per second, depending on how much it determines it needed. So, looking at our system here, as shown before, we have our purge valve sitting right here on the front left fender. We have this hose right here, just underneath it, runs from our tank into our charcoal canister that hides just underneath the headlight there. We then have a line that runs back out of the evap canister, or the charcoal canister, this one right here, with the green service port on it, to our purge valve. And from there, when the PCM commands it on, we get purge flow through the lower hose on it, back up under our air ducting, right there below the throttle body, back into the intake. It's a very simple evap system, as it does not contain a vent valve, or really any form of way for it to know that the evap is actually working, which is, you know, not the most beneficial thing, but being a 98, it's not as advanced, and it's also not a California vehicle, so it doesn't have as strict of emission requirements. So back up under the hood here, where all of our evap stuff is, we do have a very convenient vacuum routing diagram here. So we can see we have our fuel tank, that would be the rear of the vehicle. That hose right there runs to the evap canister, and from there we have just a vent hose, as well as the hose and surface port to the duty cycle controlled purge solenoid, and from there we have a line that runs to the intake manifold. This shows just about every system this vehicle has, so as you can see there is no form of vent valve or leak detection pump or switch, as this is not a California vehicle once again.
Right now we were able to find this book in the archive room, and as you can tell here, it has the full fuel ignition system. And if this vehicle was a Californian emissions vehicle, this would run from the power distribution sensor all the way down to both sides, the evaporative system leak detection pump and the duty cycle evap, the purge solenoid, running all the way down to the PCM, and obviously even more continuously. But since this is not a Californian emissions vehicle, we do not have this in the vehicle.
So with what Karen says of us not having this leak detection pump, this makes our diagram for our evap wiring very simple. We start up here in our power distribution center, which is that fuse box. It runs from fuse 18, which is a 15 amp, down to this splice, over, and we have an orange wire here running to our evap cycle, or duty cycle evap purge solenoid. This is full-time power, and then we are ground side controlled by the PCM through the duty cycle with it commanding it on. So just to show you here, you see here our fuse power distribution center, fuse 18 of the underhood fuse box. It is not labeled in our box, so looking back at this book, you can see right there, or actually we come here to our fuses. Fuse 18 is our fused ignition switch output, which is correct, and fuse 18 is our 15 amp right there. So looking back under the hood is that one right there in the top right corner. So one little observation we did make here with our evaporative emission system, just off of visual inspection here, you see we have our purge solenoid right there. We have our lines that are supposed to run down to our evap canister, And you're not really gonna be able to see it, but this line right here is not currently connected to our charcoal canister down there. You can see the hole it's supposed to line up in, just like right there. I apologize that this is really bad. This is not the greatest viewing experience, but I'm trying my best. Let's see if you can see it if I get some light on it. Yeah, right there. That little hole is where it's supposed to connect to. If it would focus on it instead of the, yeah, right there. It's where it's supposed to connect to, and it doesn't anymore, so that's a pretty big evap leak right there. Okay, so right now we're taking a look at a pretty similar vehicle. This is a 99 Jeep Grand Cherokee. However, it has the 4.7 liter V8 instead of the 4.0 inline 6. As you can see, all of our evap system is here. We have our charcoal canister, evap, purge solenoid, and then this one actually has the leak detection pump on it. And if we take a look at some of our PIDs right here, see we have our purge duty cycle, and it is purging. If I put my hand on it, I can feel it, and you may be able to hear it clicking as it's purging, as the PCM is duty cycling it. Looking at our active tests here, we also have an active test to command the purge valve on, and if we hit start, see we start purging it, and you can hear the valve being commanded by the PCM.